Welcome back to DS Trucks. In today's video, we're going to be doing something that some might find a little bit weird and unnecessary. We're going to be adding a screen protector to our touchscreen radio in our 23450. Initially, I thought, that's kind of a gimmick. But looking at the radio here now, you can see all the fingerprints that are on here. Supposedly, the screen protector is going to help with that. We'll see. And as far as the radio being scratched up, I guess it does make sense and it could happen, particularly for a work truck. I'm already kind of getting scratches on this interior. When you look over here, this imitation metal, it's like a plastic. It's getting scratched up. So I guess it is possible to scratch up your radio. I was actually in the truck doing some construction type work, and this whole interior got full of just dust and dirt, just from the dust in the air. We were hauling dirt, and the interior was covered in this stuff. And I get home, my wife gets in the truck, and she goes, "Oh, this truck's so messy." She immediately starts wiping off the entire truck, and I told her just to stop. I want to use compressed air, blow all this grit out of this truck, and you're just rubbing it in. So I guess there is a use for this if you are trying to keep the truck looking nice. But anyway, let's take a look at the product and see what all is going to be involved. But before we even look at the product, I do want to point out that they make a B-pillar applique protection that is already on this truck. You can't see it, it's invisible, but what happens with the B-pillars is they get scratched. It's this polished black material from the factory, and it just gets swirl marks. Now this truck, being a plow rig, being a work truck, even though it is a fancy truck, this is one of those things. This really kind of sold me on the product. When they reached out to me and were saying, "We'll send you the product," I'm like, I don't know. But when they mentioned the B-pillar applique protection, I was just like, send me the product. I want to try it. And I put it on. It's all pre-cut. You can't tell it's there. It's invisible. It has a cutout for your buttons here. I would have showed you guys the install, but the footage was lost because camera came up missing miraculously. But there's nonetheless a nice film over this. I don't have to worry about touching it. There's no swirl marks. That was one of my pet peeves over all the years of having these Ford trucks, is the freaking swirl marks on the B-pillar applique. So this truck never saw a car wash or anything, never saw a brush or anything on the exterior of the truck, and it has that protection. So that's cool. Wanted to mention that. So far, that's all been good. You can see if you stare really close, you can see a little bit of it on the edge, but it doesn't hold any dirt. You just spray it off. It's not peeling or failing or anything, and it's been on the truck. It's been on the truck for about 3 weeks, and happy with it. So check them out. Let's go ahead and take a look at the product. Here's a look of the product that they sent. Please excuse my desk. It's a little bit messy, but this is how it looks. It's from Screen Protect. Screen Protect. www.screenprotect.com. QR codes and all that good stuff. They give you this, and they give you these little spray bottles. This one was used to do the B-pillar applique. When we pan over to my desk here, I guess you can call this a desk, it's kind of unconventional, but pan over to the desk here, you can see that they give us the instrument panel, instrument cluster. I don't know if we'll have time to do that today, but the screen protect. They do have 2 levels of screen protection. I think one's anti-glare, one's not. I'm not sure which one is which, but I'm going to deviate a little bit from the instructions. Going through the instructions real quick, there was a whole process of how to do this, and if you want to do it right, then order the product and follow their instructions and do it right. But I'm going to do things a little bit different. Being that I'm in my shop, I have compressed air. I think they want you to do a pre-cleaning with this and then squeegeeing and all kinds of stuff, but I'm going to do it a little different. But nonetheless, I think it will get done just fine, but comment below. Let's go ahead and jump right into this. So first and foremost, for the pre-cleaning, since I have compressed air at the shop, I'm going to use that to get a lot of the residual dust out of the interior and off of the screen. It works real good. Here's a look at how that works. And also, since I am here at the shop, I have access to isopropyl alcohol wipes. I think this is going to be okay because this is a glass surface, I believe. Let me double check. Is that glass? I don't know. Seems like glass. So if it's a glass surface, it's okay, but keep in mind if you're not dealing with the glass surface, maybe that's not okay. Is this glass? I just did a little bit. Maybe I'll double check. All right, that worked out real good. It looks real clean, but I will say this. Definitely don't use alcohol on your screen. I am like 90% sure this is glass, but then again, I don't know. If it is glass, like this phone is glass, I mean, you could use alcohol on a glass screen, but if you're going to take this on the previous generation, I don't think that is glass. That's definitely not glass, it's just an LCD, and you could damage it. So don't be doing. That's why I said follow the instructions and not necessarily this video. This is just kind of how I'm doing it. But under the presumption that this is a glass screen, this is going to be probably okay. But then again, I don't even know. Nonetheless, it does seem as if this screen handled this just fine and it didn't cause any damage. Let's go ahead and maybe turn on the screen and see how that looks. Perfectly clean. I mean, don't get too much cleaner than that. Yep, looks fine. But just as a precaution, follow the instructions. Anyway, next. All right, so stepping into my office, one of the pitfalls that I know I can fall into is the dust on the outside here. Now, this is a good tip if you're doing this. Unlike my last little, I wouldn't even say tip because I'm not even advising anyone to use alcohol on their screen. That's something you got to be aware of. Tech screens need the right chemical, and alcohol is not always the right chemical. But one of the pitfalls is that when you look real close on the outside of this film, there's little bits of specks of dust. So that inadvertently could get worked around and become embedded or become underneath. So let's just lightly dust off with a clean microfiber. Let's lightly get rid of any type of a dust on here, because like I just cleaned that screen off, I don't want to bring any of that into the truck. So the backside too, dusty, dirty, specks of little bits of dust. You would think you're going to be okay, but then again, cleanliness is going to be ideal in this situation. So we got our loose dust particles off. Let's bring this to the truck with our solution that they give us. All right, moment of truth. Do I got the skill to install this thing? I got to put water on the truck, and there's going to be water applied to this thing. Let's see if I can't pull this off. All right, so here we go. Get this started here. Let's spray this. Oh, there's a lot of airflow through the truck, and it's actually carrying this spray water away. So there's that. That's wet with our solution. I think it's some kind of a baby soap or something in here. So we spray both sides of this, I believe, outside of it. And the screen is saturated. And from here, I think we want to make minimum contact with our fingers to the other side of this where the adhesive would be. So I'm just going to roll it back without touching it. Minimum, I mean none. I mean no contact with our oily fingers. Spray it down so nothing sticks. And let's see if I can't figure this out. Just using my own intuition a little, because I know I'm deviating from the instructions here. So all right, and like I said, cleanliness is key here, because we don't know how much of this dust will get transferred. So there's our cut. Now this is going to be the test to see how good their digital cut's going to be. Hopefully they didn't cut this thing too freaking big or anything like that. And I'll say with the B-pillars, they were a little bit big. I was a little bit worried about that. They assured me that they would be fine, and they have been fine. So now that this is on here, I've sprayed it, but it's not floating on here the way that I would like it to. It's like it needs more. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this isopropyl that I have, remove a little bit of oil from my hands if there's anything there, dry that off in air because that evaporates, and then I'm gonna just, like I said, don't want to touch it, but I'm gonna touch it and apply more spray. It's probably not a bad idea either to even wear rubber gloves, clean rubber gloves, but I don't know. Comment below, tell me what you think. So now that I've done that, I've freaking applied more spray. It's like I didn't do enough. Let's take a look here, how this fits. Looking at this cut, being 100% honest, guys, it looks good, but being 100% honest, their cut's a little large. Their cut is a little large on the top side here. You can see that I'm quite a bit large here on the top. So if I perfectly set up against the bottom and I look at the top, the cut's off. Now for me, in my opinion, I feel, so you can see there, it's too tall. I feel that, so on the sides here, it's a little small, fits down all the way down to the bottom, and it's a little proud up top, as you can see. Look real close. It's too tall up top. So I'm gonna see that little bit of a cut mark there if I go ahead and seal the deal here. So my thought process is, why won't they make the cut a little bit smaller, like the little bit of a reveal here on the edges is fine, but if it's too big and it doesn't fit, then it just doesn't fit, and it just doesn't work. So what do? I guess we continue the process and try to squeegee it. By the way, from my experience with the product, you can't cut the product with a razor. It's a tough product. So nonetheless, we continue knowing that there's been a little bit of a hiccup, and maybe it's not even, the thing is, maybe it's not even an issue. Maybe it just works, but I don't know. I guess we need our squeegee now. Alright, so now I'm gonna attempt to squeegee this. This set from left to right, right where I want it. Top and bottom, right where I want it. Okay, just once the water is out from behind it, that's it. That portion's stuck. So that's about as good as I can get, guys, with the overhang going to the top. I don't know if it should have went to the bottom. Maybe it'd be less noticeable, I don't know, but it's going to the top as of right now. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. No turning back now. Put our water. Let's get some more water on this thing. Okay, so it's trying to form a little bit of a bubble there because it's right up against the bottom half. Is that a speck? So they do talk about bubbles and specks as you don't want to fight them too much. Because eventually air bubble will go down. All right, so I guess that's that. So they tell you use your supplied rag, and you can also wrap your tool. I don't think you want to take this tool to this product when it's dry, but if it's wet, you can. And you can, I believe, wrap your towel in the tool and go over it, the poly tool. And I guess, with a little bit of a fitment, I guess we'll see if it's even noticeable. Maybe it's not even noticeable, but maybe it freaking hoards dirt underneath it. But, guys, this is going to be, installed on a $100,000 truck. And I feel that the install should be perfect, minus the fact that somehow there's a speck, even though I pretty well cleaned this. Maybe that's just an air bubble. How does it look? Looks a little funky right now, like a new window tint looks funky at first, and then it cleans up. So that's understandable. I am curious as to what type of a picture change does this create. But nonetheless, let's take a look. Powering on. I gotta be honest. Don't like how that looks. Bring up bed camera. Yeah, I mean, it looks like not as good with the film. I don't like the film on here. And furthermore, I don't like overhanging on the top. Look how bad it overhangs on the top. So, I am going to get rid of it. Bye-bye. Now, what happened here? Getting rid of this. Sorry, didn't quite like it. Was there something there? What is that? Just an air bubble. Nothing's there. The screen looks fine, but I just like the screen to be natural. I don't like that film on there. Don't like it. But yeah, so that's it. So with all that being said, I didn't necessarily love the product from Screen Protect for the interior. That being said, it could still be a good thing for our work truck. Check it out. Looking inside of this truck, it's a smaller screen, but you know, this screen in here, maybe being a work truck full time would be better, and that little bit of a fitment issue wouldn't be a big deal versus our truck right here. With this truck, they put a real nice screen in this truck, and I feel to have some kind of film over the screen will take away from it unless it looks really crystal clear and looks better than what we have on the screen, which maybe I didn't let it cure long enough for it to really take the effect. But the fitment issue for me to have overhang on the top is no bueno for me on this truck. Now, does that mean Screen Protect doesn't make a good product? I have to say that I could just rinse this with water, these B-pillars, and they typically will be swirled up real bad, and these do seem to be fitting, or do seem to be working. Now, I did reach out to them about fitment. Now, if we look real close, real close here, and we go to the top, and we look at the fitment, it's a little bit off on the fitment on the top on this one. The other ones, they fit pretty good. They're a little proud here on the edge, just a little, but not enough to really notice. So Screen Protect. Thank you for the products. Didn't like all of them. I do like the B-pillar. I think the B-pillar can be a little better. The fitment needs to be a little bit better. I almost rather have it be a little small, very minor amount smaller, a very small amount smaller than the actual B-pillar. But I don't love that it overhangs. Nonetheless, it does seem to be working, and it's not that noticeable. But on the interior, on the big screen, like what we have in our 450, I don't want to run that. And I'm not going to tell everyone that I'm running it if I'm not really running it. That being said, I am really running the B-pillars, so check them out if you want to protect your B-pillars. This is DS Trucks. My name is Sean, and this is an honest review. So, Protect, thank you for being on the channel. Hopefully you can send some more products, and hope to hear from you guys on your input. But anyway, thanks for watching. Over and out.